Okay, if I'm talking about is matter around us pure. So you know that in the previous chapter we have studied the matters on the basis of their physical composition like solid, liquid, and gas. In today's chapter or this chapter, what we're going to study, we're going to study matters on the basis of this pure or impure substance. Means we have divided the matter into two parts in this chapter. One is pure substance, another one is impure substance. Okay, so you know that matter occupies space and has mass, and they are called. Okay, so note it down. Note it down. Pure and impure substances. Matters has been divided into two parts: pure and impure substances. And then what are pure substances? Note it down first, then I'm going to explain you. Matters occupy space and have mass called matter. Arhan, Hanan, and Heather, please turn on your camera. Done?
No,
Should I?
sir.
If I'm talking about the matter. Okay, you know that anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. And what are pure substance? Pure substance. Pure substance does not means or impurity. Like you can't say that in chemistry, the pure substance means that is going to have only one kinds of particles. Particles can be atoms. Means what are pure substance? Those substance that consist of only one kind of particles. Only one kind of particles. And particles can be atoms, molecules, atoms or molecules. Okay, atoms and molecules. What do you mean by the word atoms? Atoms is the smallest particle. Like for example, you have iron strip. Just stop writing. Just concentrate here, everybody. Okay, that like I'm having this iron. This is an iron atoms. This is made up of iron. Okay, the iron atom. This strip is going to have billions of millions of iron atoms. Okay, that consist that all are same kind. That all are of same kinds. Okay, we got it. Okay, so they say that this is a pure substance because it is consisting only one kinds of atoms. Like water also. Water is a compound. Water is a compound which is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. But since this particle, we called it, this is a two kinds of atoms here. Hydrogen, one kind is hydrogen, other kind is oxygen. Okay, there are two kinds of atoms. But you look here, just concentrate here one more, because why we are just saying that it is a pure substance, still it is having two kinds of atoms. Because in this water molecule, the hydrogen and oxygens are not showing their property. The hydrogen and oxygens are not showing their property. You know that hydrogen is a fuel. Hydrogen is a fuel, and oxygen help in combustion, help in burning. Without oxygen, you can't burn anything. Can you burn anything without oxygen? No. But do you think that in water, does the water burns? No. Water does not act as a fuel. Does water help in lighting a fire? No. Still, it will simply that it extinguishes the fire. If you put the water on the burning fire, it will extinguish it. It will not burn it. So we'll say that here the water is not showing its property. The water, the hydrogen or the constituents are not showing its property. So the particles of water, okay, is H2O, will be considered as a molecule. We'll consider it as a molecule. The molecules are of two types, like two oxygen atoms combined together, they form a molecule. Two nitrogen atoms combined together, they form and two molecules. Okay. So some elements exist in their molecular form. Like oxygen does not exist in the form of O atoms. It exists in the form of O2. Nitrogen does not exist in the form of N. It exists in the form of N2. Means two atoms of nitrogen combined together. Why they combine together? We'll discuss this in the next chapter. That is that is atoms and molecules. We'll discuss it there. Got it? But here, just you need to concentrate that what is the difference between an atom and a molecule. An atom is the simplest form. Like H2 is a gas in which the two hydrogen atom combine together. They combine together and they form H2 molecule. And when they are the two same kinds of atoms are there, like in case of hydrogen H2, in case of oxygen, the two oxygen atom combined together, they form O2. The two nitrogen atom combined together, they form N2. They are called homoatomic molecules. They are the molecules, but they are having homo. Homo means same. Atomic means same atoms. They are having same atom. But in case of water, you find that water is made up of H2O. The two hydrogen and one oxygen atom combined together, they form H2O molecule. So like carbon dioxide, one carbon and two oxygen atoms combined together, they form CO2 molecules. So why CO2? Why CO2 and water? We are just considering it is as a molecule. And why we are just considering them as a pure substance? Why we are considering them pure substance? They have different kinds of atoms. They have two different kinds of atoms. Because in this, the constituents are not showing their property. This is very, very small in size. Even though you can imagine that only 18 grams of water is going to have 6 point. Let me explain you 6.022. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. This numbers. Only 18 gram of water is going to have this number of water molecules. The total wealth of Adani, we can simply say that the whole wealth of the world is not equivalent to this number. This is a very big number. The distance between the earth and the moon is less than this one. The distance between the sun and the moon is less than this one. The mass of the earth is less than this number. This number is a big number. So only the 18 grams of water is going to have this number, this value. This number of H2O molecule. So we will consider that this particle H2O is very, very small in size. The two hydrogen atom and the oxygen atom, they combine together, they form a single. They consider as a single entity. Okay, like the wheel and the steering and a bonnet or a body make a car. The car will be considered as a single entity. Similarly, H2O is considered as a single entity. It will be considered as pure substance. Why? Because here the hydrogen is not showing its own property of burning, and oxygen is not showing its own property of helping in combustion. Okay, and you know that hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas, but here you see that water is a liquid at room temperature. So water has its own property and it behaves like a pure substance because it has its own unique property. It has its own unique property. So what are pure substances according to the language of science? The pure substances are those substances that consist of only one kinds of atoms or molecules, one kinds of particles, like O2, like H2. Okay, example O2, H2, N2, they are considered to be as. Okay, so note it down. A pure substance in which is made up of only one kinds of atoms or molecules or particles. You done this one?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Next. Now, what are elements? What are elements? What is the definition for an element? Elements is a substance that consists of only one kinds of atoms. Only one kinds of atom should be there. Like in water is not an element. Why? Because water consists of two kinds of atoms. There should be only one kinds of atom. And similar, irrespective of the type from where it has been taken. Like for example, if you take the water, or irrespective, if I'm saying that if you take the iron strip anywhere from in the world, anywhere, like you take the sodium metal, okay, sodium metal anywhere in the world, you will find that this atom is going to have same number of characteristics 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons and 1 electrons here. How it is show where how they are why sodium is going to have this kinds of atom. We'll discuss it in the next chapter, but you need to concentrate here that irrespective from where you have taken an atom, an element. If I'm talking that it is a copper strip, this the atoms of copper are of same kinds, whether it has been taken from America, Russia, London, Paris, India, anywhere. If it is copper strip, they will have the same characteristics, they will have the same kinds of atoms. All, but if I'm talking about the iron atom will be different. That I'm just making this in a square shape so that you can understood that they are the atoms of irons are different than the Fe represent the iron. Fe represent the iron. Okay. So atoms of irons are different from copper. Copper atoms are different from silver. Silver atoms are different from sodium. They all are different with each other. But if I'm talking about the similar element, like for example, sodium from India, sodium from London, sodium from Paris, sodium from anywhere in the world, even though anywhere in the universe, if I'm talking, if you discovered sodium on the moon, then it must have the same kinds of atoms as that is found on the earth. You can't say that the sodium of moon or sodium of Mars is of good quality. Yeah, it can be of good quality because of the impurities you can see, but the atoms should be same. Sodium atoms are going to be same. Okay, so what is an element if I'm talking about? To consider, you know, note it down that elements are those substances that consist of only one kinds of atoms. The different elements have different kinds of atoms.
Sorry.
Done?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Note it down, different elements have different kinds of atoms.
Sir, done.
Done? All the atom of copper is same, like you said, but the atoms of copper and irons are different. That's why they have different chemical properties. Like you see that iron is very expensive. Iron is very less. We can say that the gold atoms are okay, more expensive. Gold element is more expensive than bit of copper or iron. Why? Because of this. Okay. Next, elements. Note it down. We have done this one. Okay. Now, what is atom? What is an atom? If I'm talking about the definition for the atoms, what is an atom? So we'll say that atom is the individual particles of matter. Okay, we can't break the atom with the simple physical math. By the we can break the atoms, but it is broken in the we can break the atoms in the not in the chemical reaction. We can break the atoms in the nuclear reactions, and nuclear reactions we are not going to study. So we say that atom is the smallest particle of a matter. So don't write indivisible, write it, or you can write it. Atom is the smallest indivisible particle of substance. Okay. Substance means element. The characteristics or the chemical properties is determined by its atoms. Note it down. You done? Noted?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, what is a molecule? What is a molecule? When molecule is when two or same or different kinds of atom, they are chemically combined. What you have to use? Chemically combined. Okay, they are called molecules. For example, let you first write a definition, then I'm going to explain you. When two or more element chemically combined together, two or more similar or dissimilar, two or more similar or dissimilar elements chemically combined together, they form a molecule.
No, sir.
Done? Now let me explain.
Yes, sir.
That's how I'm saying that it is a similar or dissimilar. They are chemically combined together. Let me explain you. Like for example, you took oxygen atom, they are the two oxygen atom combined together, they form O2 molecule. They are the similar atoms, they are combining together. Like the two hydrogen atom combined together, they form H2 molecule. But they are chemically combined. And how they are chemically combined? The atoms are combined by the transformation of electron, and that you will going to study in the atoms and molecule chapter. Okay. Now, if I'm talking about the how the dissimilar, the two hydrogen atoms combined with the single oxygen atoms, so they form a water molecule. So they are different, but they are chemically combined. So when a chemically combined, what do you mean by the word chemically combined? That when a substance is chemically combined or the atoms are chemically combined, they don't show their properties. Like for example, in water, the hydrogen, the two dissimilar atoms are there. They are chemically combined, but they are not showing their properties. The hydrogen do not show its property, oxygen do not show its property. We'll say that water is going to form and water is going to show different properties. Okay, its own property. Water is going to show its own property. Okay, so here also you can say that here you can check that water when combined with oxygen, chemically combined together, they form water molecules, and water molecules, you know that it is a fuel and oxygen help in combustion, but water is a liquid and it is formed by the chemical change and it extinguishes the fire. So in water, the hydrogen and oxygens are combined together chemically and they are not showing their property. But what do you mean by the word physically bounded? Physically bounded. Like you take a salt solution, okay? And you take water and add some 2 or 3 tablespoons to sugar to it, okay? Arhan, Anhan, and Anam, why have you turned off your camera? Why have you turned off your camera?
So there's some network issue.
So if you are sending your video now, so network issue will be when I am just stop. Means your uploading speed should be there. Now it depends on me. When you are turning on your video, okay. So if my internet is slow, then you are going to have the problem. If you are having a good internet connection, then it means my video should be turned on. If you are having poor internet connection, then I should turn off my video because it should not reach there. So internet issue is not issue with your camera. Okay. If you are having internet issue, I should have turned off my video. Don't make us fool. You are having internet issue. You are having internet issue. If you have turned off your camera, then how will you be able to see whether you are studying or not studying? How I will be able to keep an eye over you, whether you are writing or not writing? Is it the way of studying? Is it the way you went to school? Will you keep yourself hiding behind the camera? Turn it on. Internet issue is just because if you have turned off, if my internet is weak, then I should ask you to turn off your camera. Turn it on. Hanan, you also. So for example, if you took a glass of water, okay, and you added, you know that you add some salt to it. So you know that salt has the characteristics of to make some things salty, to make some things salty. Okay, salty means there is a characteristics of that one. It is a characteristics. Okay, it is the characteristics of salt that it makes the thing salty. So when you add it to the salt to the water, it goes into the intermolecular space of the water that you have studied in the first chapter. It is not chemically combined, it is physically combined. It is going into the intermolecular space, not forming. And after you dissolve the salt, to the water, will it stop showing its property? Will it stop showing saltiness? No. You add water to it, you add salt to the water, it is showing its property. So we'll say that it is a physical change. We'll say that it is a physical change. Okay. We'll say that it is a physical change. So it is important for you that that you must understand the difference between a physical and a chemical change. So in a chemical change, the constituent or the substance from which a substance is made up of, it do not show its property. But in a physical change, the constituent shows its property after the change. The constituent shows your property after the change. So that is very important. So if I'm talking about this one here, that what is a molecule? When two or more similar or dissimilar, or when a molecule is going to form, whenever a molecule is going to form, okay, then during the formation of molecule, there is always a fixed ratio. There is always a fixed ratio. You can't, for example, you are just making a glass of water, you add 2 tablespoons of sugar, or you add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so it's your choice that you can make 1 tablespoon of sugar or 2 tablespoons of sugar to make a salt solution. Or you can add a 3 tablespoons of sugar to make a salt solution. It will be diluted, concentrated only, the difference. But you can't make water by adding 3 hydrogen or 1 hydrogen. There must be exactly 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen there. If you are adding 3 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, it will not combine. It will not make water. So in a chemical change, the atoms combine together in a fixed ratio by mass. They combine in a fixed ratio. That always a carbon dioxide molecule must have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen. You cannot say that, and similarly for the water also. That if you are having a water molecule, it must be a H2O, the 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen atoms. Irrespective of from where you have taken the water. Irrespective from where you have taken the water, whether you have taken the water from the sand, so from the pond, from the underground water, from the ocean, from the we can say that anywhere, irrespective from where you have taken the water, if it is water, and it must made up of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So the combining ratio of hydrogen and oxygen when it is forming, it is 2:1. The 2 hydrogen atom and 1 oxygen atom. But because they are chemically combining together. They are chemically combining together. But in physical change, in a physical combination, there is no fixed ratio. You can add 1 tablespoon, you can add 2 tablespoons while making a sugar solution or salt solution. Okay. So it is must. Okay. So here we have just a minute. And what is the difference between when the elements are chemically combined together, they form a compound. Like water is a compound, and the particle of water, 1 particle of water is called molecule. What we called it? 1 particle of water is called molecule because it is consisting of more than 1 kind of atoms. Okay. So we'll say that when 2 hydrogen atom combined with 1 oxygen atom, they form a molecule. So this is a molecule, but water is a compound. What do you mean by the compound? Just you can imagine that the four wheel, okay, the 4 wheel, 1 steering, seats, and make 1 car. So we will say that the 1 car is a you can imagine that 1 car is like a molecule of 1 water, okay, having 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. But if I'm asking you that what is the difference between compound and the mixture? So when 2 or different atoms chemically combine together, they form a compound. Just concentrate here. What I'm saying, what is the difference between the definition of compound and element? What is the difference between compound? What is the definition between compound, and what is the difference between compound and molecule? Molecule. Like I'm saying, two different substances, like hydrogen gas combined. I'm using word substance, two different substance, when two different substance, substance chemically combined together, combined together in a fixed ratio by mass, in a fixed ratio by mass, they form a compound. Okay, they form a compound. And what is a molecule? Where here we are using the word substance. What we are saying in the molecule, when two or more similar or dissimilar atoms, not the molecule substance, atoms. Here we have written the definition of molecule, the two or more similar in case of OO, HH, NN, nitrogen, N2 gas. Two or more similar or dissimilar, like H2O, like CO2, the two carbon, one carbon, two oxygen atoms combining together, they form a molecule. You understood? You understood? Understood, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
note it down. So what is an element? Elements are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio by mass. Or we get this two or more substance. You can write the definition of compound, that two or more substance. Or element is okay. Elements are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio by mass. Elements are physically combined together in a non-proportionate manner. Means in a mixtures, there is no requirement. Okay, you can add 2 tablespoons. There is no proportionate. You don't have any formula for the mixtures. Do you know? Do you have any formula for the sodium chloride and water solution? No. Because salt solution, you can add 1 tablespoon, you can add 2 tablespoons to twice. You done? Noted, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Samia, your background camera is on. So what happens in the, if I'm talking about this one, the elements are chemically combined together in fixed ratio by mass. Here the elements are physically combined in a non-proportionate manner. Okay. The constant of compound don't show their property. Constant of the mixture show their property. Constant can't be separated by simple physical methods such as filtration, evaporation, boiling. Constant can be separated by simple physical method. Here the separation can be done. Like for example, will you be able to separate water's hydrogen and oxygen by simple heating, by simple evaporating? No. They can change their state, but it will remain as H2O. Okay. Similarly, you cannot separate it by simple physical method like filtration. Okay. And they have fixed formula, fixed melting point and boiling point, but we don't have fixed formula, no fixed melting and boiling point for this one. Okay. For the mixtures. Note it down. When you're done, please let me know.
Sir, done. Sir, done.
Done, everyone? Okay. So that's all for today because we have written a lot today. So we're going to discuss in the next class. Okay. So
Okay,
bye. Take care, everyone. Okay. Be ready. So Hanan, we have done. Okay. You have noted this one up to here. Have you noted this one? Everything. So you can leave. Okay, because it's over. We'll meet you in the next class. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello, Alvina. How are you? Is I'm audible?
Hello, sir. Yes, you're audible.
So in the previous class, what we have studied? Can you tell me? I think we have studied
We discussed about the weak base and acid base.
weak base and strong base. Today we shall be studying the chemical properties of acids. Okay. Do we have studied the pH? No, no, no. Let's start studying the. Turn on your camera. Done. So let's start studying the chemical properties of acids. What do you mean by the chemical properties of acids? Let's move. So you know that the topic of today's class is chemical properties of acids. So you know that acids when react with metals, they will give you salt plus hydrogen gas. Okay, the salt plus hydrogen gas. And you have studied this property in the previous chapter also. Like HCl when react with Na, okay, it will give you NaCl plus hydrogen gas. NaCl plus hydrogen gas. Okay. Now, if you are having this Na when react with Cl, it gives you NaCl, okay, plus hydrogen gas. Similarly, if you have H2SO4, sulfuric acid when react with magnesium, it will give you MgSO4 plus hydrogen gas. The salt is formed accordingly. You have to remove the acids, hydrogen, and then make the substance sulfate ion and magnesium. Now make the salt accordingly. Magnesium has valency 2. Okay, and sulfate ion has valency 2. They will cancel out each other, will form MgSO4. Okay, you understood, Navina? So this is the way that these acids are formed. So note it down. Note it down that the chemical properties of acids, that acids when react with metals give you salt and water. Okay, and make this reactivity series also. Do it. You done? Maria, sorry. Alvina, you done? Done. Okay. Similarly, you know that then acids when react with H2SO4. Here you see that if it's H2SO4, we are reacting it with H2SO4. Like for example, H2SO4 react with silver, Ag. Okay, it will not react. Why? Why it will not react? Tell me.
Because silver is less reactive than hydrogen.
So that is a type of displacement reaction in which the silver is need to displace the hydrogen. But since the silvers come below hydrogen in their reactivity series, it will not be able to displace it. Okay, you understand? So this is the reason why, if I'm talking about this one, that why do acids? Okay, so chemical properties of acid I'm discussing that acid when react with metal, they will form salt plus hydrogen gas. And there is a reaction that they are displacing it. Okay, like silver when react with this one, magnesium when react with this one, we will magnesium sulfate. In case of copper, there will be no reactions. Why? Because copper is less reactive than hydrogens. Okay, so okay. Note it down that those metals that come below hydrogen in the reactivity series are not able to liberate out hydrogen gas on reaction with acids. Are not able to liberate out hydrogen gas on reaction with acids. Mariam, why you join late?
Sorry, sir.
Turn on the camera.
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Sir, should we write the experiment as well?
Yeah, you have to write a test also. You have to write the test. How can you test when the question comes in examination that when acids react with metals, they produce hydrogen gas, but how will you prove this one? Write a note on the test for hydrogen gas. The simple test is that when you pass this hydrogen gas to the soap solution, then the bubbles that are produced that are carrying the hydrogen gas, not the air. This time they are carrying the hydrogen gas. And when these bubbles carrying the hydrogen gas bring nearer to the burning candlestick, then it produce the means it bursts. Okay, is it get let the hydrogen gas to catch fire and this produce a small blasting noise like pop pop sound. Okay, so that's why we use this word. Okay, so note it down. Test for hydrogen gas and make this diagram also. You done?
Sir, 1 minute.
Done? Still doing? Mariam, where have you gone?
Done, sir.
No, sir, 1 minute.
You done? Mariam?
Yes, sir.
Next. Next property of acid is that when acid is going to react with metal carbonate, acid is going